Alright, the first part of stringing a lacrosse head is the top string. So what you need is the head, your mesh, and a piece of string that is a little bit longer than twice the length of the head, as you can see. Alright, so I've already done this, but you're going to need to fold the first row of your mesh down on top of the second row so that it's 10 diamonds across. I'm using used mesh. So now to start, you're going to go through the third sidewall hole, third one from the top. Pull that all the way through. Now you're going to take that through the first mesh hole, through the bottom of it, bottom of the mesh hole, so that you get that. And then you're going to go through the same sidewall hole, same sidewall hole, and then through the bottom of the same mesh hole. And what that does is it pulls it nice and tight right to the edge of the head. And if you didn't catch that, we go from the outside of the sidewall hole, under the mesh, wrap it around, back through the outside and under the mesh again, and then you pull it nice and tight. Now, we're gonna go through the first top hole, through the back of it, and leave this loop. Then you're gonna go through the next mesh hole from the front and pull it through that big loop and pull that tight. And then pull it back and forth to get it nice and tight. That's gonna give you that L shape. And then the next step is to go through the next mesh hole over from the back of it. And then you leave a little loop. And then you're gonna go through the front of the same top hole, through that loop. And then pull that nice and tight. That gives us one of those. Alright, now let's do the next one. And depending on the head, this is a clutch, you're going to use different top wall holes. And as you can see, this hole doesn't line up with the next two, but this one's right in the middle, so we're going to use that one. So you skip a hole, you go to the next one, through the back of it, to the back of the hole, pull it, and leave that loop. And then you're going to go through the front of the next available mesh hole, through the loop that we left, and pull it nice and tight. And then once again, we have that L shape. Now you're going to do the same thing as before, and you're going to go through the next available mesh hole, through the back of it, leave that loop open, go through the front of the same top wall hole, and then pull it through that loop we left. Now you have two of those knots, and now you're going to do it on the next two holes with this hole, then on the last two with this hole. Alright, now I've got the next two done, as you can see, and now we still have this last hole. And you want your head to be completely symmetrical right down the middle. So we need to do the same thing we did right there over here. So what you're gonna do is go through the top of the next hole and through the inside of that third hole, just like on that one. So we go through the inside, just like that. We pull it nice and tight. And then we go through the back of the same mesh hole, just like that. Pull it. And then through the inside of the same sidewall hole. Sometimes it's a little tough to get through. Then you're gonna pull that as tight as you can get it. So that's nice and tight, pulls it right to the edge. And then you're just gonna tie a basic knot to tie off. Sometimes if your string is too short, like mine, that's the hard part, is tying it off. I did not pull this tight enough. Make sure this is just as tight as the opposite side, or else your channel will be off to the side and your head won't release correctly. Alright, and that is your top string.